What's up, guys? Master Joda here, back with another Clash Royale video for you guys. Today we're going to be trying out this crazy Three Musketeer deck with Elixir Pump and E-Barbs, and it's a pretty crazy deck, one of the best decks in the meta. Probably the best Three Musketeer deck in the game right now. I'm not the best Three Musketeer player, but I do know the basic concept of the deck. You want to bait out your opponent's big spell with either your Three Muskies, E-Barbs, or Elixir Pump, and then whichever one they use that spell on, you're going to be able to get great value out of your other cards that are Fireball bait or Big Spell bait. So let's just go ahead and get into this first match and see how it goes, guys. So getting into this first matchup, we're playing a little bit of an odd deck. It looks like a kind of a spawner, swarmy kind of deck. He's got Barbarians, Goblin Hut, and it's going to take me just a minute to figure out how to get around this deck that he's playing because it's kind of an odd one. But let's just see what happens here. He's going to drop a Goblin Hut. My Bandit's going to almost take that out, so that's nice to get that out of the way early on, so I don't have to deal with that aggravating chip damage. We don't really have a lot of plays there, so we're going to go ahead and go with Three Musketeers in the back. Like I said, I'm not the best Three Musketeer player. I actually don't think that Three Musketeers early game like that is the best move, but we did it anyways. We're going to protect our Musketeer on the right with a Ice Golem and a Bar Barrel to take out that Giant, and then a Hill Spirit and a Royal Ghost to take out that Barbarian, the Barbarians on the left side of the map. So not too much damage taken there. I throw out the well played because I know he has an Elixir lead now, and we're in a little bit of a tricky situation. That Barb Hut is going to be aggravating. He's got the Barb Hut and the Goblin Hut. I know you guys in the lower arenas especially play a lot of swarmy decks like that have multiple buildings that spawn troops, so that can be really aggravating. The biggest sorry about that, guys. The biggest thing in this matchup here is that I realized that the opponent doesn't have a big spell, so he doesn't have anything to really instantly take out my Elixir Pumps or my Three Musketeers. So I realized that, about when double Elixir starts, so that's going to be a big advantage for me coming into the late game. I really realized that here at this point when I dropped the Three Musketeers to take out his Giant and he has, no response for him, no spell or anything like that, that's when I really realized that he doesn't have a good answer for my win conditions. I go with a Elite Barbarians to pressure the opposite lane right there. He's going to drop a Minion Horde to deal with that push on the right side, and we're just going to kind of reset here, defend with an Ice Golem, and then I just double up on my pumps, guys, because I realized that he doesn't have a big spell to deal with them, and his deck's kind of hard to break through with all the buildings and stuff like that, so I'm just going to try and get a big Elixir advantage here. We actually got such an Elixir advantage that we were able to outcycle his Barbarians, so he didn't have an answer for our Elite Barbarians right there in the left side. And guys, if you're playing Three Musketeer decks, especially ones like these, you're going to have to learn how to split lane push, because you're pretty much most of the time, except if you're on defense like you just saw me drop those Three Musketeers right there, you're pretty much always going to be splitting those Three Musketeers, one in one lane and two in the other lane, and then you're going to be building up massive split lane pushes to just kind of overwhelm your opponent to where they don't have enough it's hard for them to defend because there's just so much stuff coming at them from both lanes, and it can be really tricky with things like the Bandit and the Royal Ghost, those bridge spammy type units. You got to be really fast if you're gonna defend those types of troops effectively, especially when they're split lane. So let's go ahead and get into this next matchup and see how it goes, guys. Alright, so getting into this next game, it looks like we're going to be playing some kind of a odd version of Ram Rider. He's got the Skeleton Army, the Inferno Tower, the Prince. So this is also another weird deck. It seems like we just are playing a lot of weird decks today. But let's see how we deal with the Ram Rider with the Three Musketeers. I am going to, again, start off with the Three Musketeers. I just didn't have the best answers in my hand. I didn't know if he had a big spell for that Bandit, so I didn't want him to get a ton of damage right there at the start. And even if he would have lightninged two of those Three Musketeers, I still would have had one Musketeer taking out that Ram Rider, so that wouldn't have been the biggest deal. Lightning is good against Three Musketeers. It can take out all Three Musketeers if you place them in the middle, and it's going to be able to take out our Elixir Pump. And it's also not a bad answer to the Elite Barbarians. So Lightning is a good card against our deck, but we're just going to have to be smart about how we bait that card out. As you can see right here, he goes with that Lightning on the E-Barbs. So the Prince is going to be able to handle those pretty nicely, and we are going to have to respond with an Ice Golem there. So that was pretty well played on his part. And let's just see how that goes. See, the thing about that, guys, is since he used his Lightning on our Elite Barbarians, now we have the Three Musketeers or the Elixir Pump that he's not going to have a good response for. Even though he does have the mirror, we don't know that at this point. And so, yeah, in a normal circumstance when your opponent doesn't have mirror and can't mirror their big spells, they're not going to have a good answer for it. Okay, here he goes pretty aggressive with the double Ram Rider. I don't think he did get quite a bit of damage, but this is actually going to be kind of his downfall, guys. You don't want to overcommit against Three Musketeer decks because, especially if they have a pump on the map, you can get really behind really quick. So now we have multiple units on the field and multiple Elixir advantage on them, and he's way behind right now. So we have a pump on the field. We have that Royal Ghost that he's going to have to respond to. And just look at our Elixir advantage, guys. It's just stacking up and stacking up on them. Let's see what happens here. I think I might go with another pump just to build up that Elixir advantage. And I'm not sure if he goes with, okay, yeah, so he's going to go with the mirrored Ram Rider in the back there. I guess he's going to try and go for the win right here, or at least get our tower. He's going to Lightning us. And I mean, just look at that, guys. Look at that Ram Rider get melted once we bait out that big spell with the E-Barbs there. And now he's just, I mean, he's so focused on defending those Three Musketeers now. We can bridge spam him with the Royal Ghost and the Bandit in the side lane, in the other lane. And, I mean, he was just really perplexed on that defense. He just didn't have a solid answer for it. And he's not going to have enough time to get off that second Lightning. So that is going to be GG's for that game. So even though Lightning was a good answer to a lot of the things on our deck, you saw how I baited it out in certain situations to where we could either, use the Three Musketeers without fear of them getting lightninged, or use the pumps without fear of those getting lightning. So you just got to learn how to bait out that opponent's counter, even though it is a great counter. Lightning is a great counter to our deck. You're just going to have to learn how to bait that card out in certain situations. So let's just go ahead and get on into the next matchup, guys. Okay, so looks like, I'm not sure, I can't really remember what this matchup was, but it's another weird deck. It looks like every game we play today is going to be a kind of odd one. But let's just see what happens here. He goes with a Firecracker. I'm going to go with a Royal Ghost in the left lane to apply some pressure, and I don't want to kill that Firecracker. If you see my placement here, guys, I place my Bandit exactly where the Firecracker will activate the King Tower, and my tower will be able to completely kill the Firecracker. He's going to go with a mini P.E.K.K.A. right there, and I'm going to kite that to the opposite lane with an Ice Golem. Ice Golem is a great counter to P.E.K.K.A., mini P.E.K.K.A., any kind of tank that doesn't target buildings. Ice Golem is going to do a great job at kiting those units, so you need to pay attention to my placement there. And now the great thing that he used his Fireball on our Elixir Pump, guys, and just like in the last matchup, that's just another baited big spell that the opponent used on us. We go with, if you see what I did there, I went aggressive on the right lane with an E-Barb and a Heal Spirit push. He got really freaked out, used his guards and his Furnace to respond to that, and then he didn't have any response to that Bandit in the left lane. We got a ton of damage, and we have a huge Elixir, or a huge damage advantage already starting off. And this is a double Elixir deck, and we're ahead so much in single Elixir already. So if you'll see, I play these kind of bridge spammy units at the bridge, and then when they play their counter, like the Valkyrie, which is a great answer to E-Barbs, he just played his Valkyrie to respond to my Royal Ghost because he didn't have another good answer in his hand. And then when he blows that answer, I can go really aggressive in the opposite lane with the E-Barbs because I know he doesn't have that good of an answer for it anymore. So it's all about just baiting your opponent's counters in this deck. You want to really pay attention to whenever they bait their counters to your E-Barbs, to your Three Musketeers, anything like that. And then just go really hard in the opposite lane, or keep going hard in that same lane if you think you can break through the push once they've blown that counter. So we're going to go with the Elixir Pump, trying to get a little bit of advantage. He just uses Fireball to respond to those Elite Barbarians. So we know that he's not going to be able to Fireball right away on that pump. He's going to Fireball our 3 Musketeers, and that was a really good Fireball. He got some great value on that, so well played to him. We're going to pressure with a Bandit in front of our Musketeer right there, and we're going to be able to take out that Valkyrie quite nicely there. We're going to respond to that Mini P.E.K.K.A. with a Bar Barrel, and looks like we have about a 800 damage lead, so I mean, kind of a closer game. We're going to go with a 3 Musketeers there. Okay, right as soon as he sees that 3 Musketeers, he's going to go for the Fireballs out to try and take it out. I mean, that wasn't really a good play. I think his Hog was already going to get a hit. So not the best play by him there. I understand his thought process, but honestly, guys, most of the time, if you're playing against 3 Musketeers, you're going to want to save your Fireball for the pump most of the time, unless it's like a late game situation to where you think you can win the game off of a Fireball to their 3 Musketeers. It just gets really hard to play against 3 Musketeers if you let them build up a huge Elixir advantage with the pumps. And yeah, like, I mean, just see what we got here. We got the E-Barbs coming down the right lane. He's got to respond to them, and then we just spam 3 Musketeers at the bridge. And we go Bandit in the right. I mean, we're just overwhelming him. He just uses Valkyrie, which is a great counter. And then we can just go super aggressive. We know he doesn't have his Mini P.E.K.K.A. in hand. He doesn't have his Valkyrie in hand. And just throw in that Heal Spirit behind the Elite Barbarians. And we're going to be able to break through for the GGs. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I would have done one more video, but I ran out of time for the day. Like I said, 3 Musketeers isn't my best deck, but they are really fun decks to play, guys. The reason I'm not so good with them is because 3 Musketeers were really bad for the longest time. They were really good about 3 or 4 years ago. They were one of the best cards in the game, and then they nerfed them into the ground, and they were irrelevant for the longest time. And now they're back in the game, guys. The respawn time for 3 Musketeers has been reset to what it originally was, and 3 Musketeers are actually pretty good. And this deck, I believe, like I said earlier, is one of the best 3 Musketeers in the game right now. One of the best 3 Musketeer decks. So if you enjoy playing 3 Musketeers, definitely give this deck a try, guys. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Like I said, you want to just focus on baiting out your opponent's big spells. Most of the time, you're not going to try and build those huge 3 Musketeer pushes in single Elixir. You're going to want to wait till double Elixir most of the time, unless you can just get insane value from 3 Musketeers in single Elixir, and you know that you've already baited out their big spell. But yeah, most of the time you're going to want to wait till double Elixir to start those huge back of the map 3 Musketeer pushes. You're going to place them in the back of the map, then, you know, put your tanks or your other units in front of the 3 Musketeers. And, you know, like I said, just always go for those split lane pushes. Those are key for these types of decks, because you're going to be playing those 3 Musketeers split in the back. So you're going to be able to build up some pretty solid pushes in front of those Musketeers while they just take out everything for your other units to break through. And if you enjoyed the content in this video, guys, please give me a like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Like I said in the previous videos, I'm just getting started up with this channel, trying to do some cool stuff. I'm going to add some more stuff. Hopefully soon I can get some live gameplay for you guys. I'm saving up right now for a webcam to get some video as well. And yeah, just looking forward to playing some gameplay live, show you how I react in an actual game to certain situations, and that'll be some good fun. And if you didn't enjoy any of the content, like I said before, just please leave it in the comments below what you think I could do better to improve on the next videos. And yeah, I'll do my best to fix those errors and get better for the next video. So until next time, guys, see you soon.